Alejandro, how you doing?
Good, you?
Good, man. Good. Nice little rainy day.
Yeah, one of 5 per year, right?
Exactly. We'll take them when we can get them. The tourists don't like them, but I kind of do. I did a random cost of living survey,
Okay.
and I think the data came out pretty interesting, and it's just something I want to share for the audience. This was just a random survey. I sent it to people I know, but I also posted it in groups, so anybody could have done it. So it ended up being 47 people, 100% anonymous. So you didn't have to give your email or contact, which, I thought it would be weird if it's like, hey, you sign up and then it's like, I can see how much you spent, so I don't think people would have been honest then. Not all the answers were mandatory. So like the first couple, everybody's answering, but it gets into cost of living. You go out to eat, a guy living in Carencia versus, a local is going to be completely different, right? So some of these are going to be wild, it's going to vary wildly. But at the end of the day, the first couple I think are kind of accurate. I've been wanting to get this information for a while, so I feel comfortable sharing this. So this is a breakdown. Once again, you didn't have to answer this, but most people did. So if we look at this, most people work in real estate, business owners, restaurants, people that are doing digital marketing, people that are working remote, charter boat, bar owners, sales, property management, etc. So that's a breakdown of who it is. And then this is a breakdown of the countries.
Mm-hmm.
So US and Mexico compromise, what is that? Almost 75%, 80%. And once again, this can be very vague, right? It didn't break down if it was 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom. But once again, if you're just looking for the cost of living, a lot of times it's not going to break that down. So I would say this would be like a 2 or 3 bedroom furnished condo on average was what kind of the numbers came out to. So what do you think the average cost to pay rent here?
Average?
Yeah. And think about it. It's mainly foreigners, right? So this is more for this is obviously like geared toward people that are looking to come to Cabo and they're like, hey, what is the cost of living here?
I guess it's like, I'm thinking of a condo in like a gated community with a pool and stuff.
Yeah, ocean view type stuff.
Okay. Average like 2,000 per month?
Yeah, so that's about spot on, right? So the average rent between the 47 polled was $19.50.
Mm-hmm.
Not cheap.
Mm-mm.
Somebody actually was paying $8,000 a month. A lot of the outliers I did not include. And then here's something else. Most people that I know that are buying real estate here are paying cash.
Yeah.
So then at the end of the day, they don't really have a payment for rent or a mortgage payment.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Some people here, said that they already owned. And I'd say that most people that are moving down here, this expense is not really something they're going to, if you're coming down here to buy real estate, obviously you're buying your house most likely cash, but this is not going to be part of the all-in cost for your cost of living,
So like most of your respondents are from the US and from Mexico, no? And a chunk from Canada. I think compared with mainland Mexico, this is very expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Very expensive.
Yeah, no, I think you would probably say, and at the end of the presentation, I kind of give like, hey, what is the cost of living based upon, a coastal area like California or Florida, and then basically.
Okay, we'll get into that. Okay.
Yeah, but no, I mean Cabo is not cheap.
Housing wise.
Yeah, no, and then it gets interesting because we break down like groceries versus restaurants.
Okay.
And when we get there, there's an interesting data point. Okay, so utilities.
Utilities, I don't know. Electricity is very expensive here because you know that Baja California Sur is the only state in Mexico that is not connected to the grid. So it's an energy island, and that makes energy very expensive. So I don't know, average, and it varies also very much.
Yeah, because the summer, like in the 6-7 months out of the year, most people are not running AC at all.
Exactly. So if we do the average Just in the summer months, I'd say that it's kind of like $300 per month, and that's for the summer months. And the rest of the year, it's not bad.
Yeah. No, like my power bill for 2 months in like January will be like $20 because we're just like using light bulbs.
And then water is also tricky here because the thing is that it depends a lot on where you live. Like I live in Tesal, not even high up the hill, like it's pretty near the highway. And the thing is that I can be almost 2 months without getting water.
Yeah.
You know, and I have a big cistern.
Yeah.
So it fills up, but I do find myself getting trucks sometimes. Yeah. So I don't know, a truck to fill my cisterna is like at least 1,000 pesos. And then the water bill comes whether the water comes or not from the municipality, right? So it's almost always like 250 pesos, regardless of whether I have water or not.
Yeah.
Then the gas, I don't know, it's not too bad.
That depends. Like some people have, like if you get to these high-end communities and they have heated pools, your gas bill can get absurd then too.
And the internet is pretty good compared to the States. It's super cheap. It's like I pay like $30 a month and it works very well.
So the average all in was 343. I think my all in is less than that because especially for electricity, like I said, I think we might pay a couple months where we pay like maybe $200, you know, $150 to $200 in the summertime. Because you get penalized when you go over a certain threshold. But then in the winter, like I said, we're not running AC at all. So I've had power bills that are $10 a month then. Okay. Water, we get pretty consistent water. And, you know, I'd say pipas maybe like 5 to 8 a year.
Yeah, me too. Kind of the same.
So it's really not that bad. And then, like you said, gas, you know.
Gas, it's okay.
And this is a thing I got with Elisa, and I was like, hey, let's fill up the gas before we're at the end of September. Yeah. Let's fill up as the storms come. Last year, you know, the storms came and, you know, everybody's getting gas at once. Yeah. And it wasn't an inconvenience, but it was like the shower was kind of cold.
Highest 1,050.
So you definitely have people that are, you know, if you have a big house and you're running AC in the summertime, it's going to get pricey. Once again, we had a good threshold from like locals. Okay. You know, that are helping people get, you know, like their paperwork done to attorneys and, you know, people that are living in golf course communities in San Jose. Okay. Yeah. I don't know how you would know this. I wouldn't know either. I couldn't tell you what I spent on groceries a month, really. Like I obviously like calculated it, but so the average was, 746 a month. I do think this is more affordable than the States.
Yeah, because if you have a family, like a small family, and let's say you go to Costco every month, and get like everything, that's like $400 per like Costco trip. But that sounds right. The average, the highest is a lot.
Yeah, no. Once again, you have a good. So look, that was 746 a month. Mm-hmm. Now dining out. So you know this is more like foreigners.
Yeah, but I think dining out is very expensive here.
Yeah.
I guess from my perspective of someone from Mexico City, so it's
very expensive, but like you go to like, once again, California is not a good barometer here, but even like when I go visit my little sister in Austin, Texas, it's like.
But it was in Chicago last month, and I thought it's more expensive here to eat out than in Chicago.
Chicago's got a really good food scene too. 749. So let's go back real quick. 746 for 749, kind of average. Highest, 4,000 a month. Well, I didn't include that. That's absurd. You know, what are you eating? Steak and shrimp every night, you know, on a yacht. So I thought this was interesting because I think if you go to like a random city in the US and you did this, I don't think people are spending as much on eating out as they are on groceries. So my point is like, most of the people that come to Cabo, they're like, it's the lifestyle. Yeah. So like, yeah, you can go in and you can cook at the house, you can do that. But a lot of people, you know, for example, if you own a home here and you come down for, you know, 3 weeks, you're probably going to end up eating out a lot more than you're cooking at home. And I know that depends, but I thought it was interesting that more people spent spent higher on eating out. And I think that just goes to show you that when people come down here, they're enjoying themselves. Not that you can't do that at the house.
And you know what else? Like in the States, getting fresh produce is very expensive.
Yeah.
Like I found that like if you go to the supermarket, it's real expensive.
A lot of people complain that it's like, you know, modified and things like this, or there's pesticide, where I feel like a lot of people come down here and they say the fruit and the vegetables.
I think especially here because we have a very good like organic kind of.
Yeah, and Ciudad Constitucion, they have a lot of
and around Todos Santos and
yeah, exactly.
So you can eat healthy at home for not a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that's different from the States.
But I feel that a lot of people that come down here that are foreigners and buy a place to live end up spending more eating out and enjoying life. I agree. It's not cheap here. Although we do have like our spots that are pretty reasonably priced that we go to. And a lot of it's just pick up anyway, but it just goes to show that people are, when they get here, they're enjoying the area, and there's so many. I have a lot of people that are like, hey, have you tried this restaurant? And I'm like, I haven't even heard of that restaurant, you know, because there's just new ones. And so there's a good dining scene here, I think. Right. But then you have a lot of tourist trap restaurants as well. Yeah. You know, I won't name any, but I think of one that like, I mean, I go to eat there when clients want to go and pay for it, but I would never be like, oh, hey, let's go eat at this restaurant. Yeah. You know? And you go there and it's like a CNB scene place, you know. Now this one's tricky. However, I did kind of. So I'm interested. Just what do you think you would spend on gas?
Like $150 per month.
Like, dude, I was out in the East Cape yesterday.
Yeah,
I got home and like
I
had to like walk around because I was sitting down so much driving. It was like, you know, 3.5 hours driving. We went randomly in the East Cape. The roads were super gnarly in the East Cape with the rain too. The thing is with this is definitely, there's not many people that have car payments here, I think. You know, the locals, possibly, but then like a used car, a lot of times you're not even getting a payment anyway. Insurance here is cheaper as well. And public transportation here is awful, in my opinion. You know, not that the States has it that much better, but like...
No, but it's really bad.
Yeah. Apparently they're doing a bullet train from Tijuana down to here. That'll be ready when I'm in the grave.
The thing is that because the roads are not in ideal shape, and also because you have the ocean right here, you I think you have to factor in maintenance. Yeah, like it's a lot. Yeah.
This for somebody like myself, 496. Is probably accurate just because I spend a lot of I drive around a lot.
And you have
like I'm going
big
to
truck.
Yeah. And I'm going, it's not that big, but it's definitely.
I mean, it's big for Mexico.
Yeah.
Not for Louisiana,
but even just going up to like Todos Santos, you know, I enjoy doing these trips. You know, it's beautiful. So I would guess that if you are going out every day, with insurance, you're probably spending about $400 or $500. I would say this. So car insurance, I pay $156 for full coverage, and I did a quick search. And the average payment for full coverage in the States is $190 to $225. So car insurance is cheaper here, but you don't want to be getting in an accident here. It's just, especially it is an island, so just getting car parts, let alone just injuries. Yeah. But you know, you get in a car accident in Louisiana, you know, you're gonna get in a lawsuit. The other person's gonna sue you. Here, that's like non-existent. And you go courtside to a NBA game in New Orleans, and it's all the plaintiff attorneys that are on billboards. They make a good living. Healthcare, this one's tricky too, but it was just interesting to see. Now, once again, I think this ranges from younger. Yeah. We got a bunch of people in the room right here, and I think I'm the oldest one. And like, fortunately, I don't have to go to the doctor that much, but I think
I have private insurance, and right now I don't know how much it is, but it's much cheaper than the private insurance that I have.
And do you find it's good?
It's very good, but I like, if I have to go to the doctor for like a normal thing, my insurance won't cover it because it's just for like expensive stuff because how do you call it?
That's probably good.
The part that you have to pay yourself.
Deductible?
The deductible, it's very high. So it's for me, it's more like...
No, that's good because I find that generally going to...
It's not that expensive.
It's not that expensive here. You know, and in the States, like healthcare is a racket. We're not getting into like specialized treatment or like, you know, cancer treatment or anything like that, but, you know, or like heart surgery. But when you keep it just like general practitioner, I think that's just pretty much anywhere in the world is going to be cheaper than the United States. Entertainment and leisure. Once again, now we're getting into, this depends upon the person. I would throw golf in here. I spend a good amount on golf, although I do base my golf around my hookups.
If you golf, if you fish, or if you scuba dive, that goes way up. But those are things that
are
and
nice.
To
be honest, like I think most locals, like I hate to say this, but I don't like go out in the water as much as I used to. Like I used to go fishing a lot more. It's such a long activity. Golf is too, but it's good networking and I enjoy it.
I don't know, 520. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, for a lot of people, that's like 2 or 3 golf rounds, you know?
That's one fishing
so a lot
trip.
Of people, one fishing trip for sure. Yeah, exactly. Once again, that's a completely, you know, this is dependent upon the person, right? This one had the highest spread between the local that's just kind of like here making a living versus the people that come in from Denver. And it's their second home, you know, and they're entertaining people. Clearly, you're going to have a very wide discrepancy between the two. So a lot of people answered $150 a month. Yeah. You know, and then you had these ones where it was absurd. Well, I wouldn't say absurd, but you can see people are generally enjoying the lifestyle. What would you say to that answer? 0, no entertainment in Cabo.
What would I say? Well, everyone's enjoying stuff to do, no? So, yeah.
You got Senior Frogs, you know, Squid Row. No. There's stuff to do here. Yeah. You know, but I could see why you don't have like, you know, the concerts. You don't have like the sports.
If that's what you want, you're not going to get it here.
You know, like somebody, I know somebody that's like starting a comedy show. And I mean, like, you have to have a population of like, in my opinion, like 2 million to have a really good comedy scene. If you don't, like, you're not going to be able to attract talent. And then like, it's not going to be able to grow. So those little things, although if you go to Crania, you know, you have a lot of like the DJ scene I feel is getting, it's not anything like Tulum or anything, but you know, it's
a scene.
You're starting to have a lot more of that.
I do think that more and more there's an opportunity for doing events like that cater to the locals, because there's a population. I mean, small, but
I agree.
10 years ago, no, but now,
yeah. Well, it's like little things like, for example, there's this place in New Orleans called Rock and Bowl, and they have live music and people bowl. Okay. And I was like, that would be a great idea. And I like shared it with a couple Mexicans. They're like, dude, that's terrible.
That's a terrible idea.
So I was like, all right, I'm not gonna try to do anything like that. So I see this, a lot of Americans come in or foreigners come in, and they're like, oh my God, I could kill it with this. And it's not always that simple, because a lot of people here, they want to do their own thing. So but I am 100% in support of like the people that are doing comedy shows, the people that are trying to do that, because we need more of it. Yeah. Whether it's sustainable or something that can be done, that's a whole nother thing. This is interesting. Education and childcare. Somebody was spending $1,400 a month. I would say they've probably got more than one kid. That wasn't part of it. I saw this where it was like, if you're sending your kid to like private school, I think like $500-$600 a month.
Yeah. And if you have someone at home to help you with your kid, like a nanny.
And that's kind of part of, it was more like cleaning for house help is another one. So once again, like it kind of gets blurred, right? But you get a decent idea of what.
Yeah. But I mean, having a nanny in the States is out of reach, like for most people. Like
100%. You know, and then you could have like maybe somebody clean. Yeah, it's affordable. And then I would say, what's like 30,000 divided by 12? How much is? That's like, yeah, dude, that's like what a lot of private schools are where I come from. You know,
30,000 a year.
Yes, it's like a college, dude. College education now is like 65 a year in the States. It's absurd. Yeah, I know this because I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was like, man, college is, and he's like, I know, I pay 3 scholarships to random. He's like, it used to be 25, now it's 65. Education here is, I find, very good. Yeah. You know, like, I feel like the teachers are like kind of invested.
I think here we have
not that they aren't in the States, but I feel like
3 or 4 schools that are.
I feel like in the States, they feel underappreciated. Okay. And you have like the public schools. I saw they were on strike about pay. You know, so it's not all perfect. I personally think like math scores in Mexico are stronger than they are in the States.
I think it depends a lot on the region. And
I had this video go viral on that, and a lot of Mexicans shared that like they had dual citizenship and they moved to the States, and the teacher was like, "Hey man, double down on English and like sit out math for a year."
okay.
And they were like shocked that you could use a calculator in class when they got to the States. And I shared this with some Mexican guys that I was golfing with the other day, and they were like, "No, their kids go to like school in Switzerland. They're like, our daughter was like good, but she's like average over there, and it's just like kids from everywhere." So he's like, "I didn't see any difference." So this one was kind of weird. I don't know how I would answer that. $220 a month. Okay. So
I don't know.
personal
Like
care subscriptions
gyms and stuff.
Yeah, I would throw that in there. And at the gym here, I think the one by Soriana, that's got a really nice view. I know a lot of you goes there. I think that's like, if you do it on a year, I think it might be like $30. You know, like it's not that expensive. And if you do it by the month, it gets more expensive. You know, but if you get a year membership, I actually left that gym because there was too many people there. Household help.
Okay.
This is interesting. So $250 a month. So I think you have like cleaning, gardening, maintenance. I think that's about average, especially when you factor in like people in higher end communities. You know, because if you think you have like somebody like a maid that comes once a week, you have a big yard, maybe you have a pool.
If she comes once a week, yeah, probably. But per day, I'd say that it's something like $30.
Yeah. So like if you get a maid to come, it's like $30.
One day.
Yeah. And then like, would you say it's the same cost if you and your wife go out to eat, you know, or go do something and somebody's got to watch the kid? So it's about the same.
A little bit more maybe, but
Really?
kind of the same.
Okay. A lot of times our cleaning lady does you know, it's like she does the same. Yeah. So it's the same price. But I would say, yeah, about $30, you know, if you're going out.
Kind of.
And like you could definitely do anyway. That's not that you want to go cheap on somebody that's watching your kid, but like that's just a general rate. I think that's pretty normal.
30, 40, yeah.
Yeah. So back to it, I think that if the breakdown that I would say is that Cabo is probably 80% of the cost of living in California, which is probably one of the most expensive markets in the US, right? So I think, and this is if you're just coming down and you're not really paying attention.
80%.
80%.
So it's pretty close to 100%.
So there's 4 people here right now. We're all locals. Like I spend more money just because like I'm entertaining clients and things, right? But I get my haircut is 300 pesos. If that's in the States, it's like $40 or $50. You know, it's kind of wild. So like little things like that you can just go and get these types of services done. But I think that's pretty accurate. So if you went and said like, I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. I think I have the same cost of living that I do in New Orleans. But here I have the capacity to go lower than that if I want to.
Mm-hmm.
So I think from the middle of the country, I think you get more expensive here, depending on your cost. And then once again, there's a lot of variables and it depends upon the person, right? If you're coming down here and you don't want to like change your lifestyle at all, and you want to go out to eat, you want to do all that, I think that's a pretty accurate number. So this is a husband and wife, $2,300 a month in rent, like nice, furnished. And I know this because we sold their place and now they're renting a place. And the place we sold was nice. Ocean view, amenities. So $2,300 a month, they're spending about $1,000. And you can see this is a local. So they spend 4 times as much on food and groceries as they do eating out. Guys driving a lot, huge truck for 2 cars. You know, once again, about $500 a month, I think is safe. You know, you could definitely go less than that. Healthcare, they're older. So $1,000 a month. Entertainment, $500. Cost of living, you call it $6,000 a month. Now, once again, if you bought that house, so like if they hadn't sold their place, you know, that would be down to less than $4,000 a month. And that's not bad considering he's living the exact same lifestyle that he did in California.
It's pretty good.
You know, so it's not like outrageous.
No.
But then I can see Larry is probably like, this is that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
you know,
but
for
we're
Mexico.
talking. Yeah, but we're talking from a point of view of someone who.
Yeah.
Like,
And
from
then
their point of view,
you've got
it's a good
to
deal.
put this into consideration too, that we know that like as of right now, Baja Sur has the most expensive single family residence in all of Latin America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like
All of the world? No, just Latin America.
No,
Okay.
dude.
No.
You could say that this is probably one of the more expensive markets, obviously in Mexico, depending on where you're at. But, you know, you have really high end stuff to where, you know, you're going to like Chileno Bay. These are like second, third, fourth, fifth homes, you know, and those types of people, you know, it's a minimum $100 million net worth, you know. Then you go into like Palmilla Carencia, you're probably talking about a minimum net worth of maybe 30, you know. And then you got everything going down to somebody who's basically retiring and they might be in California and they have everything set up. They have their retirement accounts, they have their IRA, they can take their disbursements, they've got their social security, and they're like, hey, not only like can I live here cheaper, but then I can catch like a second wind and practice Spanish and meet new people, as opposed to just kind of on top of it, there's like a lot of mental health reasons as well, I would say, that is not even factored in. You know, right now, like I had somebody that just came back from the States and I asked them, they were in Texas, and I was like, man, was it like wild? And he's like, no, because I was ready for him to be like, oh my God, like it was like left, first, right, you know, but you do feel a lot of that, like here.
No, imagine how you feel like in March in Chicago and you still have 2 months of winter to go, like your depression levels are.
Yeah, well, those places have like I've never lived in a winter climate, but I've had enough clients here that are like 55, 60, early 60s, and they're like, we're not doing it anymore. And I'm like, that's all I need to hear.
Compared to other places in Mexico, there's places in Monterrey, I think a municipality right outside Monterrey is the most expensive in Latin America, so it's more expensive than here. But the thing here that I like is that, yeah, it's expensive, but also the economy is growing at a higher rate than the average of Mexico. So what I mean by that is that here there's a lot of opportunity. So there's more, you know, more abundance that you can, you know, get and be a part of. So it kind of like balances out the higher cost of living.
Yeah.
You know?
No, and here's something that's interesting. When I was with Diego yesterday in the East Cape, we're looking at these builds. He was getting garage doors for one of his clients. How much do you think that garage? All right, so that garage door was 10,000 pesos in Mexico City. Okay. How much do you think that same garage door was here?
3 times more?
Exactly, 30,000. So like the whole thing is like these Mexico City. No, it's 100%. Like I'm convinced of that. You can say that, but like I'm convinced the guys that are doing like 20 builds that just are balls to the wall and they know that the gringo will pay, they're going to do that. You know, so not everybody's going to. The whole point is that those places have like different, very diverse economies. And I do agree the opportunity here is greater, but it's not as diversified. And I'd love to see something more like, I don't know, the banking industry or something. Although I'm not too keen on the Mexican banking industry, but fintech or something. So basically, somebody from Australia said it's 60% more expensive here than Australia. Once again, 80% from Miami. So I think you have like Miami and California, 2 very expensive markets. I think it's very safe to say that that is a pretty solid number if you're keeping the same cost of living, which means if you're coming from like the Midwest or Denver, it probably could be cheaper, but it's probably going to be on par. And then if you're coming from an area like, I don't know, Iowa, it's probably going to be more expensive, you know? And then somebody said it's double the cost. Than Italy, sorry. So 100% higher compared to Italy. So you have like these, but then again, I wouldn't say that there's a lot of places where, like in Italy, they're literally like selling houses for €1 to try to like stimulate the economy. 50% less live in Mexico from where they were at. You know, once again, I think some of these this is all user generated. With that being said, all those numbers, this was a question. 68% said it's less expensive to live here.
Yeah.
10% said it's not, and then 21% said it's more expensive.
So those are all the
I would
those are
fall
all the
into
Mexicans.
Yeah, exactly.
The 21%, and
Yeah.
the other ones are the.
But the Mexicans were like 30%, I think, of the. So, I would fall in the green there. But if I wanted to, I could easily fall into the yellow. Like there's certain things, like I think, like coming from Louisiana, gas is cheap. It's cheaper here, but car insurance is much expensive in in Louisiana too.
I'd be like in the green or the blue. Compared to how I lived in Mexico City.
Yeah. I think Larry would say she'd probably be in the blue coming from Veracruz. There's certainly other places. So that was it. I just thought it was...
That was interesting.
You think that's accurate?
Yeah, you have to just keep in mind your sample and just keep that in mind, and that's
No, so
based on the sample
I
that
think
you showed.
especially when it comes to like utilities and rent for like $2,000, I think is like a pretty badass ocean view, long-term, gated community. I think that's very accurate. Like I can think of developments right now where you're probably getting in there for less than that.
Okay.
Now, if you're coming for, 2-3 months, that could get jacked up, because you're not getting that discount for a year long. But I feel like that was pretty accurate. And then when it gets into healthcare and stuff and cars, and I think that changes drastically. But the thing that I found actually more interesting from this was that people tended to spend more eating out than they did on groceries. Mm-hmm. And that's just indicative of who is coming down here. It is the person that is coming down for the lifestyle, versus just like coming to live. A lot of the people that are coming down here to buy properties they're doing it to enjoy life.
Yeah.
And the whole point is it's not a move to come down here to save money. I think you could, depending on where you're coming from, but most people that are coming down here, that's not necessarily a consideration. It's more,
not to save money.
Hey, I could have a better lifestyle here.
Or to make money. If you're coming from other parts in Mexico, let's say, and you move here because of like I said, the growing economy, your main consideration is like, I'll probably have to spend a little more to live here, but I will make more too.
Yeah, but also I would say that those people too are probably getting a better lifestyle as well. Coming from like the guys who I golfed with, they were from Mexico City. He was like, his wife was like, she was very like adamant that we move here. And I was kind of against it, but he's like, 2-3 years later, I'm like, she was 100% right.
Yes.
And we're sitting there golfing Currency, and I'm like, I can see why he's happy. Anyway, that's all we got.
Okay.
Thank you, Alejandro.
Thank you.